You are ready to go.
Seven and 9, 10. Okay. Brother lads, welcome back to the Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. Benjamin Sesko is of Arsenal are still looking to sign a striker. However, reports are now claiming that Arsenal might look elsewhere in terms of this the transfer priority list, and we might not sign a striker, but we might go in to sign a winger rather than a number 9, rather than a center forward. That is the report I don't like to hear. That is the worst report I'm hearing today. That Arsenal might actually not sign a striker this summer, but move on to sign a winger, move on to sign other targets, and then revisit the center forward position next summer. Obviously, because we have Kai Havertz in that position, but also because Arsenal think that they might fail to get a good opportunity on the market this transfer window. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. I want your thoughts in the comment box below. Do you think Arsenal are genuinely going to fail to get a good number 9 in this summer? And do you think Arsenal should actually focus on getting in a winger, getting in a midfielder, getting in a left back, and then we buy a striker next summer? Because in my opinion, and this is not very popular among the fan base, because not everyone actually thinks that Arsenal should sign a striker this summer. Many people think a striker is not a necessity. A striker is not a priority. I was talking to Glenn even last night, and he reminded me that, Cossy, for me, I don't see a striker as a priority. I don't see a striker as our number one pressing priority. If Arsenal get a midfielder and if Arsenal get a winger, that will be job done for the window, and then we can go on and do a couple of other businesses. But we're going to be talking about Sesko. We're going to be talking about the decision for Sesko. Does that change Arsenal's transfer plans? Does that really impact the way Arsenal work their transfer business? Now, let me know where you're watching from. Also, still, let me know how you feel after this Sesko story. I mean, wasn't really good. Now, Kato Joseph says no. Arsenal shouldn't really focus away from the center forward. We should move on to the next target. We're going to talk about that because I think this center forward market this summer is a little bit dry. But for a club like Arsenal, the caliber of Arsenal, I still think that we can do some amazing deals. I think we can do some amazing business. I think we can go out there and negotiate some interesting deals. If the likes of AC Milan have negotiated a deal for Joshua Zirkzee, who was available for 34 million. Obviously, I'm not saying Arsenal should go for him or should have gone for him. I'm just trying to say that at the moment, Arsenal have no reason to walk away from the striker situation. We can still go out there and get some good deals done, and have our transfer plan as as aimed. Now, still, today it has been reported that Mikel Arteta and Arsenal are planning to have their transfer plans a little bit as quiet as possible, so that we don't get a lot of hijacks, like we've seen in the past. Now, of course, Mikel's policy ever since he came in, his number one priority in terms of the transfer window has been making sure that there are no transfer leaks, making sure that if we want maybe Gyökeres and we're working on the Gyökeres deal, no one is in the know on that deal. And of course, that helps you to negotiate your deal without getting clubs like Chelsea, who don't have a transfer plan, coming in to destabilize you. That helps you to do your business a little bit quick and early, because you're locked into one player. So is it that Arsenal are really working in silence, or is it that we are confused, like many people were saying, that Arsenal are confused? We don't know what we want. We don't know who we are going to sign. We don't have a priority target list, and therefore Arsenal just jumping onto one player and another. Is that definitely what is going on? Or is it that Arsenal at the moment, they know what they're doing, they know what they want in this summer, and they're just working in silence? I mean, I would love to know what your thoughts are. Let me know in the comment box below. Where do you fall on each side of the coin? Is it that Arsenal don't know what they're doing? Or is it, you believe Arsenal are working in silence? So let's get into it. Let's start off with the Benjamin Sesko story. Today it has been confirmed that Benjamin Sesko will not be leaving RB Leipzig. Is signing a new deal. That has been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. That has been confirmed by David Ornstein. And tomorrow on Wednesday, if nothing changes, we are going to see a confirmation from RB Leipzig, that the player has signed a new deal and therefore is going to stay at RB Leipzig. Now, according to Romano, this is the reason the player has decided to stay. Number one, he has been he has been told he's going to be the key player and the key man in the project next season at RB Leipzig. What the hell that means, I don't know. I don't know what it means that he's going to be the key man in the project. I don't know what that means. But secondly, he has also been offered massive wages. And when I talk about massive wages, I'm talking about double what he's been earning. I mean, again, that is what Romano is saying, that he's been offered massive wages, lucrative wages. Thirdly, there is a gentleman's agreement that the player can leave in 2025 or 2026 if good offers arrive, and if a club that the player wants comes in, there is a gentleman's agreement in that new deal that he will be left to leave. So that is the reason why he has chosen Leipzig over Arsenal, over Chelsea, and over Manchester United. I've got to say, Leipzig have done well. It's a very good deal, and many people out there would feel like Arsenal didn't do enough. We didn't convince a 21-year-old to join us. You can have that in whichever perspective you want, but I think it was always going to be difficult for you to beat a club like RB Leipzig with such an offer on the table for their main man. If they have promised him to be their main man, they have given him good wages. He has a guarantee that he's not going to be tied to RB Leipzig for life, but he can live in 2025 if that works out. He can live in 2026 if that works as well. And also, his agent has been promised that the player is going to follow into the steps of Erling Haaland. So what that means is Erling Haaland had signed for Borussia Dortmund, and within the first year, he had done exponentially very well. But in terms of career development, his camp, his father, and the people that actually advised him felt like Haaland should have stayed at Dortmund for another year before he made a big move to Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City. So Erling Haaland stayed for a second year at Borussia Dortmund before making a crazy switch, or that crazy switch to Manchester City. So Sesko has also made the same decision, according to Fabrizio. The player really wants to develop well, and he thinks that staying at RB Leipzig was always the right choice. So don't get angry at Arteta. Don't get angry at Arsenal. I think we did whatever we could. We did whatever was in our power. Still reports claiming that Arsenal know they were always favorite to sign him if he didn't stay at Leipzig. If he had decided to move on, if he had decided to make a switch, Arsenal were always going to be his final destination. So we just didn't get him, and those things happen honestly. But is this going to change the transfer strategy Arsenal are having? Because I want to point you to a very, very interesting report. This one has been reported. Been reported about an hour ago, right after the Benjamin Sesko story coming out. And it says that Benjamin Sesko's decision to remain at RB Leipzig does not necessarily mean that Arsenal will switch their attention to another centre forward. The club are also keen to strengthen in the wide positions, and they will now prioritize a winger instead of a more traditional striker. This story has been, written and delivered by one of the trusted sources when it comes to Arsenal, Ryan Taylor. And I don't think this story is in malice, or it comes in a bad way. It's just speculative that maybe if Arsenal fail to get a striker or one of their striker targets, they're actually going to move on to wingers, and then they're going to revisit the striker situation next summer. To hell with that. I don't want to hear that. Now, for me, Sesko is a good player, and I know maybe Arsenal, Edu, Mikel, and whoever is working with transfers, at Arsenal, is maybe heartbroken, is maybe disappointed because we didn't get the guy that we wanted. Maybe he was number 2, maybe he was number 1. We will never know, will we? So maybe we didn't get him, and it's true, you're heartbroken. But there has not been a single window, even under the worst management under Arsene Wenger. There was not a single window where Arsenal had one target in a position. Last summer we talked about Declan Rice being the only position in midfield. That was a lie. Rice was there. He was wanted. But there was also links to Sat Milinkovic-Savic. There are also links to Moises Caicedo. There are also links to Romeo Lavia. You cannot tell us, and no one can convince us, that Arsenal only wanted Sesko and that's it. It's over. No, right? So a new striker is going to come in. Fabrizio already confirmed that Arsenal are looking to sign a striker. They're looking to sign a forward this summer, and that is on top of their priorities. So if anyone tells us that Sesko was priority and therefore Arsenal are not going to sign anyone because Sesko is not joining, that is absolute crap. That is absolute bullshit. So I think we're going to see now in the next steps, Arsenal moving over to the next target, right? I mean, it has been revealed today by The Guardian that Arsenal still think the Joshua Zirkzee situation is still very open. And maybe Arsenal still think that they can get Joshua Zirkzee this summer. I'm not saying that they're going to get him. I'm saying that is what The Guardian are reporting, that there is still a possibility we get Joshua Zirkzee. So if you've seen reports saying that Arsenal are now not going to sign a striker because of Benjamin Sesko, that is complete trash. Disregard that. Don't consider it. There's never been a window where Arsenal have one target. We wanted James Maddison and Odegaard, right? Odegaard was priority. Maddison was number 2. We did get Martin Odegaard. There was the window where we wanted Lisandro Martinez as priority. There was Oleksandr Zinchenko as well. We got the second option, which was Oleksandr Zinchenko. So, when we wanted Caicedo in January, we had Declan Rice as backup for the summer. When Caicedo didn't sign in January, we signed Declan Rice in the summer as the other option. So I don't think Arsenal are new to transfer business. I don't think transfer business works in a way you would try to do a career mode where you wake up in the morning, you pick up your, how do you call them? The control pads, the game pads, and sign players like it's career mode. You bring in Osimhen, you bring in Sesko, you bring in Zirkzee, you bring in whoever you want. The transfer doesn't work that way. Transfers work in a very, very realistic way and in a very difficult way. And we have just seen a clear example of how transfers work. You want to sign a player like Sesko, You know that you're good enough and you have a very good project for a player like Sesko, but RB Leipzig have beaten you to it because realistically, Chelsea can beat you to Mikhailo Modric. Realistically, Man United can beat you to Lisandro Martinez. And realistically, Barcelona will beat you to Rafinha. And realistically, Arsenal will beat you to signing Declan Rice if you're Man City. And realistically, if you're PSG and Man United and Everton, Arsenal will beat you to signing Gabriel Magalhaes. That is the transfer reality of the transfer market. So a striker for me is still incoming. I'm not going to change my mind. We might see a reduction in stories coming out of the reliable news outlets when it comes to strikers and what Arsenal are going to do in terms of strikers. But I still think in the future, in the near future, Arsenal will go again, and we will get linked to other options. Now, the Guardian have said that Arsenal are going to look at alternatives, and I think the alternatives that we're looking at are very, very. I think they're very, very explicit now. We know them. We know the players that Arsenal are looking at. For me, if it's another opportunity, another priority, let's go with Victor Gyökeres. That is the guy. And I think I was reading an article. I think it was on Twitter actually, from Tom Canton, Football.London. I like him very much. And he actually makes a very interesting point. He doesn't break the story. It's not a breaking story. But he says, when you look at the reliable transfer links that have been surrounding Arsenal in the last few days, it is Osimhen, Gyökeres, Solanke, and who else? And Ivan Ferguson, right? So when you look at Osimhen, that is expensive, like really expensive. That's not happening. Isak, expensive. That is not happening. Ivan Toney, that one is too old. Arsenal are looking for someone a little bit younger. So that leaves Victor Gyökeres as a massive opportunity on the market. I'm not saying that leaves Gyökeres as the player who's going to sign for Arsenal. I'm saying that leaves him as a massive opportunity on the market, excluding and eliminating Joshua Zirkzee for 35 million and Benjamin Sesko for 65 million euros, leaves Sporting Lisbon in a glorious position. And I won't be surprised if Arsenal are now going back to Sporting Lisbon in Portugal, kneeling down and talking to Sporting in a calm voice. Because the reason as to why we told Sporting, we are not signing him, we have he's too expensive. The reason as to why we did that was we looked at Sesko, we looked at Joshua Zirkzee, and we're like, these two deals, these are lifetime opportunities. These are once in a lifetime opportunities on the market. Like, it's when you wake up and you have $10,000 in your account and 1 million kilograms of gold is worth $10,000, which you have in your account. That is a once in a lifetime opportunity. If you don't take that opportunity, you are absolutely going to be a fool, because gold is definitely going to regain value in the next less than 24 hours, and you will be a massive billionaire. So Sesko and Zirkzee are both Bitcoin appearances on the market. Like, we just woke up and we saw Bitcoin, and we thought if we get our hands on this Bitcoin, we could actually raise its value. It would be very good investment. But not all investments go through, and therefore Zirkzee and Sesko are investments that Arsenal are not going to get. That doesn't mean that Arsenal didn't have other targets. That doesn't mean that Arsenal have not been scouting, other players. I don't think by the time Arsenal decided to go for a striker, I don't think they've been looking at Sesko only. I don't think they've been looking at Zirkzee only. I think Ivan Ferguson is a player that was reported right from last summer that Arsenal were interested. I think Osimhen was reported right from January that Arsenal were interested. So we have a couple of difficulties in those deals. Ivan Ferguson is expensive and very young. Osimhen is very, very expensive as well. But you can find a way. We can find a way. And I think there is always going to be a second option. There's always going to be a second way. So for me, what I'm going to say, guys, in terms of striker, don't get your hopes down, right? Don't become disappointed. Don't become angry, devastated, and all that kind of crap. It doesn't make any sense for you to become that. It's just early in the window. We are remaining with around 2 days to the beginning of 3 days actually to the official opening of the transfer window. You don't have to be deflated. You don't have to be, discombobulated and disintegrated because one player has decided not to join us. Obviously, Hato is not signing for us. Zubimendi is also not signing for us at the moment. And life still moves on. Arsenal are a big club. We are bigger than all these other targets that are rejecting us. We are bigger than them. Like Arsenal can go and do a crazier deal than Sesko. We can go and do a better deal than Benjamin Sesko. Hit the like button for me, guys. We need to get to 50 likes on this live stream. Thank you so much if you're watching. And of course, let me know where you're watching from. And how did you feel? Or I want to get you into your thoughts and feelings on this Benjamin Sesko story. How did it feel? How does it feel right now when you know Sesko was a priority, and if he didn't settle for Leipzig, definitely would have been an Arsenal player? Are you hurting? Are you disappointed? Are you happy that he didn't sign? Because I'm not going to lie. Honestly, Sesko not signing for Arsenal is not hurting for me. I would be lying. I think I'm disappointed because it's one that I thought would happen. So I'm disappointed in that regard. But I am not really hurting. I'm not really in a bad mood because Sesko is not signing for Arsenal. No chance. Sad, big up to you, Sad, in the comments box below. Says is watching from Uganda, and he says, I wish Victor Gyökeres is the next option. Okay. I think this is Basaliza telling me that Joseph from Uganda says, I thought that Gyökeres Victor was a more suitable option than Benjamin Sesko. Okay. Benja says, I miss a massive advantage for Victor Osimhen here. He is already admiring Arsenal, 80 to 100 million euros. Listen, why I never wanted Sesko and why I am happy that Sesko has not happened, it just allows Arsenal to go for serious targets. It just allows us to go for more serious targets. And I'm not saying that Sesko is not a serious player, but I think Gyökeres would do better. I think Lautaro Martinez would do better. Obviously, we're not going for Lautaro, but what I'm just saying. And I think Osimhen would do better. So it's not a deal that I'm really going to mourn over. Victor says Arsenal really need a striker like Gyökeres, a winger like Nico Williams, and midfielder like João Neves or Yusuf Fofana. Big up to you. Morgan says, Cossy, I never wanted Sesko from the start. If our budget is 150 million, then bring in Fofana for 25, Rafael for 80, and Kudus for 45 million. So you're looking at two wingers. Interesting. Dauda is watching in from Celarion. Big up to you, Dauda. Victor says Arsenal seriously need a centrist forward. And my opinion goes like this. Victor Gyökeres and Osimhen, and the midfield, I'll be happy to see João Neves, Fofana, and Douglas Luiz. I think Douglas Luiz is going to where is he going? It's going to Juventus, right? I think it's going to Juventus. The deal is very close to being agreed between the two clubs. So I think he will go to Juventus. I don't see him as a player that is actually going to join Arsenal. Now, let's talk about the transfer confusion, right? I, for one, don't believe that Arsenal are going to walk away from the striker situation. I think we're still hunting for a center forward, and we are hunting for a midfielder. I think the two priority positions for Arsenal this summer, we are going to see Arsenal trying to sign a mid, and we're going to see Arsenal trying to sign a center forward. Keep your eyes open. Now, to the people who think that Arsenal are actually confused, they don't know what they want, they don't know what they're doing, this is what I'm going to say. Arsenal this summer are trying to do however much, and they're trying to keep it quiet, and they try to keep their deals secret as much as possible. Now, the links that you see coming out, Yusuf Fofana, Amadou Onana, Benjamin Sesko, Joshua Zirkzee, there are always going to be links, right? There are always going to be links. You're going to have links from agents. You're going to have links from the players' camp. And you're also going to have links from the training ground. Journalists always have their sources, right? So probably if Chelsea wants Sesko and Chelsea find out that Arsenal wants Sesko, a journalist that is close to Chelsea will report the Arsenal interest because Chelsea are facing friction on the Sesko deal because there is Arsenal as well. But what Arsenal want this summer is absolute secrecy, right? So when you go out there and you don't see deals happening and you don't see Arsenal signing like Chelsea are signing Tosin and Ribayo or doing this and that, I don't want you to feel that Arsenal have gone back to the Arsene Wenger days. The Arsene Wenger days are over. The days of chasing Benzema for a whole summer, for 3 whole summers, those days are over. The days of chasing Mesut Ozil for a whole summer until the last day, those days are over. The days of getting to sign, Lacazette for 3 years, you're signing one player, Alexander Lacazette. Those days are over, right? So Arsenal are trying to work in secrecy. Arsenal are trying to work in absolute privacy on deals because they don't want deals to be hijacked. We saw what happened with Mikhailo Modric. Now, many people would say, and maybe I'm one of those clowns who actually say that Mikhailo Modric, oh, he shouldn't have. We are happy he never joined Arsenal. We still don't know, and we will never know what Mikhailo Modric to Arsenal would have been. We don't know. Like we are among the people who always say Kai Havertz to Arsenal. No, this guy's a flop. This guy has failed at Chelsea. What is he good at? What does he do? But right now, we are the same scumbags that call Kai Havertz King Kai. So for me, I understand why Arsenal want to work in privacy, and I understand why Arsenal are trying to work in secrecy. The reason is, if Arsenal come out and say we want Victor Gyökeres, how many clubs are going to come in for Victor Gyökeres? Honestly, like if Arsenal said we want to sign Gyökeres, like we said we wanted to sign Kai Havertz, the moment Arsenal had scouted Kai Havertz and they felt like he's a good player for our project, suddenly Chelsea increased their price. Suddenly Bayern were interested. Suddenly Real Madrid were interested. And I was like, wait a minute. So all these clubs have scouted Kai. All these guys have looked at Kai Havertz. The same way Arsenal have looked at him. Wow, this is marvelous. This is beautiful. When Arsenal came out in January and they said top target is Declan Rice. Wow. Man City, we are paying 80 million for Declan Rice. Why? Because Arsenal is there and Arsenal are willing to pay 80 million for Declan Rice. All of a sudden, Chelsea's interest became strong. All of a sudden, Bayern wanted to sign Rice. All of a sudden, the whole world was a Declan Rice admirer. So I think what Mikel is frustrated with and what this team of transfer negotiators is tired of is putting in their hard work, getting 180 pages, and then in the end, you have a club that is willing to pay 2 million, 10 million, or 20 million more, take your target. I think Arsenal scouted Mikhailo Modric better, and Arsenal knew, and Mikel Arteta knew where Mikhailo Modric was going to play. I think Mikel knew what he wanted to do with Mikhailo Modric. I don't think. Chelsea didn't have a plan for Mikhailo Modric. How can you have a plan for Mikhailo Modric, yet you don't even have a plan for a manager? So, if that is the case, and Arsenal want to work in secrecy, and Arsenal want to keep their deals private, I respect that. Let's do that. I'm 100% in support. So, because Arsenal are working in secret, you're going to see many reports saying Arsenal are confused, Arsenal don't know what they want, Arsenal this, that, and the other. I'm going to say that is not true. All those stories saying that Arsenal don't know what they want, Arsenal are confused, those stories are not true. Those are people that want to break stories, but they have nothing to break. Those are people that want to be the first to break the Arsenal deal for maybe who so and whatsoever, and they have nothing to break. And therefore, they are saying Arsenal are not sure, Arsenal are undecided, Arsenal are this and that, right? So I just wanted to clear that. Arsenal are going to work in secrecy. Arsenal are going to work in privacy. You will see deals happening, and we have seen deals happening. The Fabio Vieira deal. Did anyone really break that story before the 48 hours in which it happened? Not really. Honestly, Known truly, no one had broken the Fabio Vieira story before the 48 hours in which it happened. If Arsenal had broken the Fabio Vieira story, trust me, Man United, Chelsea, Aston Villa, all of the sudden, they would come out and claim, oh, we've wanted Fabio Vieira for quite some time, and therefore this is our time to sign him. Shut the hell up. You're not having good scouts. You're not doing enough scouting. Let Arsenal get their targets. So for me, I'm okay with that. And secondly, by the way, the other advantage of working on secret deals is it allows you to pay the right amount. So I'm looking at the Benjamin Sesko story, and I'm like, if RB Leipzig said, if they had just said, we are going to sell, right? We are going to sell to anyone who wants him, and they created a bidding war, right? So if you don't want bidding wars, if you don't want unnecessary, premiums, paying unnecessary premiums and unnecessary, bidding war tax, what you do is you sit down with your target, you sit down with a club that is holding your target, and you tell them, this is what we have in store for you. This is how much we would love to pay. Are you in or are you out? Right? So, guys, I want to say this. Sesko is off. That's true. And Arsenal looking at alternatives. That is true. At the moment, Arsenal are not moving away from the centre forward situation. Arsenal are not just going to sign a winger. We might sign a centre forward and a winger, or we might sign a centre forward but not a winger. I still think that a centre forward is going to be a very, very big part of our transfer summer this summer. Okay. After confirming the latest, I want us to talk about Zirkzee a little bit. Just Zirkzee a little bit, right? Because Charles Wetz has now said that Arsenal are ready to step up Joshua Zirkzee transfer interest after Benjamin Sesko snub, and this is being reported 4 minutes, right? 4 minutes, and this being reported by Charles Wetz in the daily brief that he does with Court Offside. This is what I feared when it comes to alternatives, right? Let's get this picture of your boy Zirkzee. This is what I feared when it comes to alternatives. I didn't want Sesko. Honestly, there's no question there. I didn't want Sesko, but neither did I want Arsenal to go and get Zirkzee. Neither did I want a mediocre striker, one that is worse than Sesko in terms of profile, but also in terms of being ready for the Premier League. I think, for me, with Joshua Zirkzee, he's had a good season. I mean, people say he's had an extraordinary season at Bologna. Extraordinary? No. He has had a good season at Bologna, as simple as that. And that simple season has attracted interest from a couple of Premier League clubs, couple of Bundesliga clubs, and a couple of Spanish Liga clubs, and AC Milan are the front runners to get him. Honestly, guys, a striker that is wanted by Milan alone, almost. Like, for 34 million, we should be hearing Milan are dying to sign him. Inter Milan are dying to sign him. There is Arsenal there. There is Man City. We should be hearing a lot of interest in Zirkzee. I don't think there is a lot of interest in Zirkzee. I think there is a lot of potential for him to thrive in Milan. I don't think there's a lot of potential for Zirkzee to actually thrive at Arsenal. I don't see him as the profile I would love to at Arsenal this summer. Like, no way. No way in a million years do I see Zirkzee as the striker I want at Arsenal. So the Guardian, through Ed Aarons, and also now Charles Watts, are saying that Zirkzee, you could see Arsenal step up their interest in Zirkzee because of the snub from Sesko. Max says, I only want Osimhen or Gyökeres. Big up to you, Max. Brian says, hey, Cossy, thanks for the updates or race. I think we should go and try Gyökeres, Zirkzee, and Ferguson. I mean, Ferguson and Gyökeres, I'm hearing. Zirkzee, I'm not convinced about him. Now, the only reason why Arsenal will sign Zirkzee is because we are looking for an Edin Ketia replacement. Zirkzee is a 34 million striker. You know, Zirkzee reminds me of the transfer of Fabio Vieira. Like Arsenal spent around 35, 37 million pounds on Fabio Vieira, and eventually that is not a high cost. So if he works out, he works out. If he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. Arsenal can still get, some 20 million euros out of his sell, and things work. Things go on. I thought this summer, and I'm going to do a live stream with Glenn at 9. That's why I don't want to overspeak on this one. I thought this summer was about Arsenal going to do changer deals. That's what I thought. But I was wrong. I thought we were going to do changer deals. Zirkzee is not a changer deal. Zirkzee is not a game changer. This is not a game-changing deal. This is how do I call the Zirkzee deal? How would you call the Zirkzee deal? Zirkzee is not a game-changing deal. This is a mediocre deal. This is a mediocre deal. This is a deal that Man City would definitely not do. Like, not do at the moment. Even after Alvarez leaving, even if Alvarez leaves Arsenal, right? Leaves Man City, I don't think they go for Zirkzee. Like, I won't be surprised if Julian Alvarez leaves City and they go and try to sign a player like not Osimhen, because Osimhen can't be on the bench for Haaland, and they go and try to sign a player like Vitor Roque at FC Barcelona. I'm not saying Roque should be Arsenal's number one. I'm saying if he's number two at City, we can make him number two at Arsenal, and we can make Osimhen or Gyökeres our number one. So there's a little bit of gambling there. I'm not going to lie. There is a little bit of gambling there, and I really don't like it. I really don't like it. Watching live from SS, big up to you, Matthew. Big up to all the army from South Sudan. Sad says, Sad from UG, I think Arsenal still needs to play a secret game. Need of getting Joshua, and yet they have another striker they are looking for. Yeah, listen, it was reported earlier on today that Arsenal were comfortable with being linked with Benjamin Sesko, right? And rumors and reports linking them with Sesko over the weekend as they try to do an underground deal. If there is an underground deal they're doing, and that underground deal is not Sesko, and that underground deal is not Zirkzee, bring it on. Bring it on. Like, if that underground deal is Gyökeres, thank you so much. I don't care whether I have updates on Gyökeres. I will get updates when the deal is done. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is Zirkzee being the underground deal. Please spare me the embarrassment. Spare me the embarrassment. Spare me the embarrassment. Spare me the embarrassment. Please. Please. Not Joshua Zirkzee. Not. Let's get game changes. Mary Njeri says, I'm listening to you from Kenya, and I think we should go for Victor Gyökeres and Nico Williams, who will compete with Saka. I mean, that would be an upgrade. Williams is at the same level as Jeremy Doku, and we know that Jeremy Doku has been absolutely insane for Man City, right? Arsenal must sign Sesko. This is Muhumuza. Muhumuza, the deal is off. The guy really disappointed us. That's Matthew. I'm not one of the people who have been disappointed by Sesko. I'm not one of the people who have been really disappointed by Sesko, but I can hear you. Zirkzee will get interest once Premier League clubs know that Arsenal need him. Chelsea will run there too. That's according to Freddie. And Prince says, good evening, Cossy. Good evening to you guys. Now, so the striker situation, I'm glad that we've been here and we have been able to talk about it. Please subscribe to this channel. Please hit the like button, because I am here to give you the latest around the club. Now we're going to have the Cossy and Glenn podcast live at exactly 9 p.m. With Glenn. So make sure you tune in for that one. We'll speak to you right in the next one.